Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, now we got Tracy McGrady talking about ring culture. Yeah.
By that, if you take them off a team that is a championship quality team, replace me with Kobe with Shaq. I don't win a championship. You don't think I could carry the Lakers to a championship? Like, I've never had the opportunity.
Correct.
I felt like if I was put in that position to win a championship, I damn sure would show up and do what I do in the playoffs to elevate my team to that level. I just never had the chance. So do I get diminished because I never won a championship?
And those are the words of Tracy McGrady. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Louis Sports Network. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday afternoon in this last Sunday of June. Here, as we head into July, it is officially cancer season. You already know what it is. Before we get started, make sure you guys smash the like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure your post notifications are turned on, make sure you're sharing on your social media platforms. Truly appreciate it. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. I appreciate you guys always liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Much love as always. As I always say, guys, without you guys, there is no me. Now let's get on to the video. So we are talking about ring culture, and this is going to focus on one of the great players of his time, and that would be the one and only Tracy McGrady. And he had made some comments, as you guys saw in the beginning of the video, talking about ring culture and that what defines greatness when it comes to winning championships, and that there's so many great players who've had opportunities to win but don't get blessed to be in the situations that they're in to win a championship. And he says, for some reason, Tmac decides to go that if he were to take over Kobe's spot and play with the prime Shaq, that he would win a championship with Shaquille O'Neal. Now, he also said, don't you think that he could carry a team? And here's what I respond. Do I believe you and Shaq could possibly win one? Absolutely. But is it going to be because you carry Tmac? The answer is no. And Shaq was going to get the credit because it happened in the first three-peat. Kobe played with Shaq. Kobe was putting up number one option numbers beside Shaq, and Shaq won 3 straight finals MVPs. So no, you weren't going to get the credit for contributing to a championship team because Kobe gets slandered for winning 3 championships with Shaquille O'Neal. Nobody's saying that Kobe was the best player of those 3 championships, but what we're trying to say is that Kobe was not carried by Shaquille O'Neal. You can necessarily say the case for 2000 because if you look at the 2000 NBA Finals, now mind you, Kobe was averaging 23.3 points per game, and he was shooting at about 46% from the field through the first 3 rounds of the 2000 playoffs. Pretty solid numbers. 2000 Finals, as the LeBron fanboys and Kobe haters love to do, they always talk about, 15.6 points, 36% shooting. Are we going to sit here and we're going to just ignore that Kobe put up those numbers? He's a sidekick. He's a Robin. Stop. Kobe was the Robin to Shaq in 2000. But we're never going to talk about that Kobe was 10th in defensive win shares in 2000. We don't talk about that Kobe was the youngest player to make first team all defense in 2000 at 21 years old. These are the kind of things that you don't get mentioned. We don't mention the fact that Kobe had to guard Nick Anderson, had to guard Jason Williams, he had to guard Tony Delp, he had to guard Penny Hardaway, he guarded Jason Kidd. In the conference finals, he guarded Damon Stoudemire, Bonzi Wells, Scottie Pippen. We're not even going to talk about it. In the NBA finals, he guarded Reggie Miller along with Ron Harper. They took turns guarding Reggie Miller. And that Kobe Bryant guarded Mark Jackson. So not only did I tell you Kobe was 10th in defensive win shares in 2000, which was the best of his career at 21 years old, but also notice the multiple players that I told you Kobe had to guard, along with the fact that Kobe had to score, and Kobe had to be able to make plays as a playmaker alongside Ron Harper in 2000. So Kobe was doing a bit of everything. You got to watch the games to really understand. But again, people just want to throw the sidekick because of the finals. Shaq was the best player. But again, let's go back to the numbers. Kobe only scored 12 in game 1. The game plan was to dump it into Shaq because, as John Sally told Rick Fox, if you guys watch the 2000 championship video of the Lakers, John Sally is talking in his segment, and there's a moment where he says that Rick Fox is saying that the Pacers are not doubling Shaq, and John Sally says don't say anything so that they don't hear that game plan, and then they just let Shaq have single coverage, because again, who was Shaq's primary defender in the finals? And it was Rick Smith. Rick Smith, underrated center. The dude can ball, but he was not a dominant center. He was not a dominant rebounder, and you're putting him against Shaq. Come on, that's barbecue chicken. Come on now. I said the only way that Rick Smith would have a shot would have to be if he's knocking down mid-range jump shots to take Shaq out of the paint, because Shaq was not really good at guarding the pick and roll. And if you force Shaq out of the lane, that means he's not getting rebounds. Okay, being that as it may, Kobe Bryant scores 12 in game 1. In game 2, he only plays 9 minutes, and he missed his first 3 shots. He gets injured because Jalen Rose sticks his foot underneath him in his landing space. He knocks down the jump shot, but he only plays 9 minutes and misses the rest of game 2 with an ankle injury. Game 3, Kobe Bryant did not play, and he missed the game, and the Pacers won game 3. In game 4, Kobe plays, and Shaq has a monster game, 36 points, 21 rebounds. Kobe is shaking off the rust off of his ankle injury, and next thing you know, Shaq fouls out, right? Kobe Bryant scores 8 points in the fourth quarter and overtime after Shaq fouls out, and helps the Lakers win game 4, in which it probably would have been a tie series, because we all saw what happened in game 5. Pacers blew the Lakers out by 33 points, and Kobe was trying to make up for lost time since he missed most of game 2 and all of game 3 to get up a lot of shots, and Kobe Bryant was not in rhythm in games 5 and 6. I mean, he was 4 for 20 in game 5, so he did not shoot the ball well. And then in game 6, he was 8 for 27, so he shot 12 for 47 in the last 2 games, even though he had a phenomenal game 4 in which he shot 12 of 20 for 28 points, right? So, and he was trying to shake off the rust. But again, no excuses. Kobe Bryant averaged 15.6 points. Shaq was the best player. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that Kobe Bryant was not the MVP of the 2001 playoffs. And I get it. I know as I get to the San Antonio Spurs in a bit, look at the numbers that Kobe put up in the second round against the Sacramento Kings. Look at the numbers that Kobe put up in the Western Conference Finals against the San Antonio Spurs. And I get it. The Spurs were guarding Shaq because they had Duncan and Robinson. I get it. Shaq averaged 25 points in the series. Kobe averaged 33. And then the LeBron fanboys will say, and Kobe haters will say, well, Kobe didn't have to deal with the guards. Like, there were no guards. The guards were old. Like, what is that? Okay, I get, to an extent, I understand that. Kobe had more single coverage. They didn't really have the guards to be able to guard Kobe. I understand that. Sean Elliott was a lot older. He was his primary defender. I get all that. Antonio Daniels guarding him. Fine. But you still shouldn't take away what Kobe did, because let's say Kobe don't play well and the Spurs win the series, then the blame was going to be, well, Kobe didn't step up and Kobe really didn't have nobody guarding him and he still couldn't get the job done. Oh, Kobe's overrated. Now, mind you, Kobe was playing really good defense during those playoffs. And again, the fanboys are going to go, well, Kobe, he didn't. The Lakers, they cheated for Kobe Bryant. And I said, notice that they talk about Kobe. And it's just like, what is your personal vendetta with Kobe? I said, you do realize that Shaq was on that Lakers team too. So if you're going to say they cheated for Kobe, then you have to also say they cheated for Shaq too. See, that's the thing, isn't it? You can't make it seem like if Kobe was by himself on the Lakers and they cheated for him and that Kobe's overrated and that Kobe got carried by Shaq, but then in the same token, you're going to say, oh, they cheated for Kobe when Shaq was on the team. You get what I'm saying? And on top of that, Shaq's lack of leadership is the reason why he got snuffed out of L.A. People only want to talk about what Kobe dry snitched on Shaq and Kobe was with the rape case with the white girl. We get all that. But again, if you look at 2000 and when Shaq won the championship, if you guys listen to their sit-down interview, listen to what Shaquille O'Neal said about when they won the title in 2000 when he sat down with Kobe.
First championship, I'm happy. Matter of fact, in my mind, I'm done. Now I can go do what I want to do. So I'm here, we go to a parade, do that, boom, I jump on the plane, take the family back to Orlando. I'm sitting. Oh, Kobe never got their first championship. Can they get another one? Right. Will they be known as a Laker dynasty? Can they do it again? So, you know, I'm mad. I'm upset. One thing I know I got a guy that's gonna be ready. So, one thing I know I got a guy that's gonna be ready. I mean, a lot of times I didn't come to camp ready because that's just how I got to do love or something.
Yeah, see, that's what pissed me off. That was it right there. That was.
Listen, I got beat up. I got hacky shack. I was tired, man. I ain't still no work. I'm blood on. I'm swimming. Me and Uncle Jerome, we sipping pina coladas. We eating burgers.
Okay, so you heard the words of Shaquille O'Neal, and basically in Shaq's mind, he was done. So now let's get to fast forward and let's talk about Tracy McGrady. Tmac, it ain't going to be because of you that the Lakers win a championship, because you said that you could have carried the Lakers. Now, we know that you and Vince, you had said yourself with Ahmad Rashad when you spoke to him, and I can't find the video because I don't know if it was when the Raptors were on prime time for the first time in 2000 in that February 27th game against the Phoenix Suns, or was it in the series against the Knicks in the 2000 playoffs that Tmac had a conversation with Ahmad Rashad saying that him and Vince Carter could have been the next Jordan and Pippen, and he said Vince would be Jordan and that Tmac would be Pippen. But yet Tracy McGrady's coming out here talking about, if you replace me with Kobe, you're not telling me I couldn't win a championship? Yeah, T-Mac, you could have won a championship. I agree with that. But it will not be because of you, because, again, prime Shaq, you're going to be second fiddle. What I'm trying to tell you is, are you going to put up the type of numbers that Kobe put up with Shaq? Because let me remind you guys, in 2001, let's look at the numbers that Kobe put up with Shaq. Shaq put up 28.7 in the regular season. Kobe Bryant put up 28.5. And this is when Kobe was breaking out into superstardom, because he went from 22.5 in 2000 to 28.5 in 2001. And mind you, in the playoffs, prior to the NBA Finals, we saw the numbers that Shaq put up. He put up monster numbers. I think it was something along the lines of 33 and 15, because in the Pacers series in 2000, he put up 38 and 16. Kobe Bryant only put up 24 points per game, so his scoring went up from the previous year. He went up almost, 9 points per game? But through the first 3 rounds of the 2001 playoffs, Kobe was putting up 31.6 points per game, shooting 49% from the field with, I think, about 6 rebounds and 7 assists. Through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, he averaged 35 against Sacramento, and he averaged 33 against San Antonio on great efficiency. That's the stuff that we don't talk about, ladies and gentlemen. And in the postseason, Shaq averaged 30 and 15 in 2001. Kobe Bryant gave you 29, 6, and 7 on 47% shooting. What number 2 option gives you number 1 option numbers alongside prime Shaq? That is not being carried, and that is not no number 2 option. Kobe was robbing in 2000, I'll give you that. But in 2001, it was Superman and Batman. It was 1A and 1B. It was not no Superman. It was not no Batman and Robin. It was Superman and Batman. Shaq was Superman. Kobe was Batman. Then you look at 2002. Shaq averaged 27 a game in the playoffs. Kobe Bryant gave you 26 a game. And as you look at the chart, you look at the numbers, Kobe was putting up, again, number 1 option numbers alongside Shaq in 2001 and 2002. In 2003, Kobe averaged 32 points per game, and that was the first time that he had outscored Shaq in a postseason run. But yet, for some reason, Tracy McGrady is talking about, oh yeah, man, we would have put up, I could have carried my team. What people don't want to understand is, Tracy McGrady, let me ask you this. Why didn't you get on Dwayne Wade? Dwayne Wade won with a past prime Shaq in 2006. Dwayne Wade led the team to a finals MVP in 2006. Now, we can get into the break, free throws, all that kind, but my point is, Dwayne Wade was the finals MVP and led the Miami Heat to the championship, with Shaq averaging 13 points and I think 8 rebounds per game in 2006. And this is 34-year-old Shaq. But how come? And it's so funny that you use Kobe. It is open season on Kobe Bryant, ladies and gentlemen. Open season on Kobe Bean Bryant. But Tracy McGrady, you had your chances. Are we going to talk about 2002 when you failed to win a playoff series? No. As a matter of fact, let's go back to 2000. You were the second option to Vince Carter, and you got swept by the New York Knicks. 3-0. You say you can't play in the shadow of Vince Carter. These are your words. And you go to Orlando, become the number one option. 2001, you lose to the Milwaukee Bucks. You lose 3-1 against Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, Big Dog and them boys, Big Dog Glenn Robinson. The very next year, you lose to the number 4 seed Charlotte Hornets and got outplayed by Baron Davis, right? 2003, you go up 3-1 against the Detroit Pistons. Now let's take a look at the numbers you put up as I put it up on the graphic on this video. From game 1 through 3, you were absolutely incredible against Detroit. Game 4, you struggled, but your teammates picked up the slack and you go up 3-1 against the Detroit Pistons. And then, and I quote, Tracy McGrady, when you were asked about the 3-1 lead against Detroit in 2003, you said it's finally nice to be able to go to the second round. What happened after that? You shot 36% for the rest of the series. And in Game 7, you went 7 for 24, being primarily guarded by rookie Tayshaun Prince. And you lost. 2004, you failed to make the playoffs and you only win 21 games that year, despite the fact that you led the league in scoring. You get traded to the Houston Rockets. You play with Yao Ming. I remember Tracy was excited with the fact that he finally got to play with a co-star in Yao Ming, and that it's somebody that he could give the burden and the bulk of the shots to, and that he doesn't have to carry a team. You, out of your own words, Tracy McGrady, said that you were worn out in Orlando. You said that you was exhausted, that you that it was just a lot for you, right? And that's what you said. But going back, and then let's take a look at what Tmac said here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at what Tracy McGrady said. He said, I had no choice but to go out and carry the team. Tracy McGrady on why he liked Houston better than Orlando. At last, Tmac knew how it feels to have a co-star in Houston with Yao Ming. That article was made on August 31st of 2024, so almost a year in the making, right? Then Tracy McGrady goes on to say, that said, in his arrival in Houston marked a pivotal moment in T-Mac's career. Finally, T-Mac had a high-level teammate in Yao Ming, and he once spoke about the relief he felt knowing he had someone with whom to share the role of a leader. I had no choice but to go out and carry the team because I didn't have Grant Hill. The two-time scoring champion told China Daily, referring to his time with the Magic. When I came here, I've got a big guy that I can go throw the ball to, and he gets 25 shots a night, and I could defer to him. He also goes on to say, throughout his illustrious career, McGrady made a name for himself with his incredible scoring ability and athletic prowess. However, his savvy moves and electrifying dunks often overshadowed his unwavering commitment to the team's success over personal accolades. When he joined the Rockets, T-Mac made it clear from day one that he would aim to help the team win, emphasizing that winning was far more critical than individual scoring titles. To do so, T-Mac understood he had to demonstrate a willingness to share the stage with Yao. I'm all about winning. I'm a very unselfish player, the 7-time NBA All-Star said. For me, it's all about getting W's. I've won scoring titles. I don't care about none of that stuff no more. I'm at a point in my career where I just want to win ball games. So if that's going out averaging 12 to 15 points and one winning ball game, so be it. And mind you, T-Mac did not average 12 to 15 points because he was in the 20s. T-Mac was worn out in Orlando, ladies and gentlemen. Looking at the article, it says, looking back, it's quite easy to understand when McGrady preferred his time with the Rockets over his run with the Magic. For T-Mac, the absence of a complimentary star player meant he had to deal with double teams and intense defense all season long. This situation wore him out mentally and added to the physical toll of being the team's primary scoring option. What does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? That Tmac was not the guy, no matter how much Tmac wants to tell you in the video that he couldn't carry a team to a championship? No. And then he goes on to say, honestly, a lot of people don't understand. McGrady once confided, in Orlando during those 4 years, it really took a toll on me. I was averaging 40-something minutes a night. I'm averaging about 43 or 44 minutes a game. Those type of minutes in playoff games are like double because of the intensity, physicality, and it takes on you. Those 4 years tore me up. I'm not saying that I don't agree with T-Mac, because that's definitely true, especially when you don't have a reliable second option. It can take its toll on you. But like I said before, with Shaq being the primary number one option, that means you would have had to been playing defense. You would have been able to be in a playmaker, because you yourself said you wanted to win, but you were still taking the scoring load, right? So that's why I said that at times I can't take T-Mac seriously, because then let's look at what he did against the Dallas Mavericks. With the Dallas Mavericks, you're going to see the numbers that I put up on the board here in the video. And then you're also going to see what he did in the first few games in the series, and then how he did in the wins and losses. And then that's what's going to happen, right? And then ultimately lose the series, because with Yao, the Rockets lost in 7 to the Dallas Mavericks in 2005 in T-Mac's first year, in his first year with the Rockets. Right? So we saw that. And let's look at the numbers. I mean, for the series, Tracy averaged 30 points per game in the series. He shot 45.6%, which was the best he shot, 37% from the three-point line, and he shot 82% from the free throw line. In some of those games, it was pretty bad in terms of what he shot. He gave you 7.4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3.7 turnovers, almost 4 a game. Yao Ming gave you 21 points, and he gave you about 8 rebounds, 21 and 8. He shot 65% from the field. Yao shot 65% from the field in the series. Now, Mike James was the only other player to average double figures. The Mavs had 5 guys average double figures. So, and yeah, that was the thing. Other than Yao and Tracy, like nobody else was really able to give you double-digit scoring other than Mike James. And Mike James shot 47%. So there you have it. And despite all that, the Rockets went up 2-0 and ultimately lost the series in 7 games. And if you look at the series in 2007 against the Utah Jazz, now I know Yao missed the 2008 playoffs. I know that they missed it during that time. We look at McGrady's averages for this. I know in the last game he had 29 and 13, but I mean Boozer, 24 and 11. Darren Williams, 16 and 8. Darren didn't shoot well, but Boozer shot 50% from the field. T-Mac shot 39% in the series, 25 from 3, 73 from the line. Yao Ming shot 44%, and he shot 88 from the free throw line. So Yao, as your number 2 guy, shot a better field goal percentage with you, and T-Mac was still taking the most shots on the team. Even though he says that he has a guy who he could share the shots with, but T-Mac was still taking the most shots, 22.9 per game. And he averaged 25, and he shot way less than what Yao Ming did. 25 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. In this scenario though, he got 10.9 for Rafa Austin, even though he didn't shoot the ball well. Shane Battier gave you 10.3 points on 45% shooting, 44 from the 3-point line, and 87 from the line. So in 2005, you had 3 guys averaging double figures with him and Yao and Mike James. 2007, Rafa Austin and Shea Battier. So T-Mac had his opportunities, but it just goes to show you that T-Mac was just not that guy. Yeah, he had injuries. Yeah, he didn't have the most help, but it was like you still couldn't have won one playoff series even though you said that you could carry the team. And you said at the end of 2007, you said this.
As first got to know each other as teenagers, did you recognize right away you were kind of kindred spirits in the way you approached the game?
Well, yeah, but he was freakishly more athletic and taller than I was.
And I had to get his work ethic. Because I was a little bit more reserved and never been around, somebody work as hard as he did. And I learned that from him.
What was it like going against each other?
I loved it because I knew I was going to get his best. There was no backing down. Like, I knew I had to come and play against this dude every single possession. And it brought the best out of me. Because, you play some of these guys, some nights, you could drop 40 and you don't really have to go hard. With him, yeah, you sleep on it if you want to. You get embarrassed. So, I relished those opportunities.
I remember he had
I know Kobe's my man. And to go back to those comments, I never should have said replace. I don't want to say I replaced Kobe. Kobe's my brother, bro. There's no way in hell I will ever disrespect my brother like that. Yes, it came out as me replacing. I never said I was better than Kobe. Kobe and Shaq is winning 3 championships. At this time, I think by the second or third championship, Kobe's probably the best player in the game. When you look at Kobe and you look at MJ and these guys that are on that tier, it's an obsession that they have with the game of basketball. I will stand on playing with Shaq, though. Yeah, I believe if I'm playing with that big guy, I go win a championship.